We're gonna switch it up today. Chidong, what are we doing today?
Why me?
What are we doing today?
Oh, we're doing the traction control system on a MK5 Supra. Yes. That makes too much power to hook.
Courtesy of Curtis. I get it. Courtesy of Curtis at Elite Street, Texas. Performance?
Yeah, Elite Street Performance, Texas.
Elite Street Performance,
Say that 10
Texas.
times as fast.
Yeah, I know. It's a tongue twister. Anyway, this is supposed to tie into Ecutech, and it'll allow us to actually do a custom traction control system. So what Curtis sells is the Race TCS system, which you have to install. From that, you pin it to your reflex, and then the reflex gets a signal, I guess, I'm not quite sure in what way it comes to. I'm gonna have to look at it once we get it installed, but it's gonna give us an input that we can put into a custom map on Ecutech, and then we can do a custom traction control similar to if you are a Nissan fanboy and you had a VQ or a GTR where we do custom traction control using the wheel speed sensors. Similar to that, except that Ecutech can't pick up the wheel speed on these cars, so we couldn't do that. So this gets around that and allows us to do a custom traction control. And they work really well on the Nissan products that we tune. So we're excited to see what it does on Troy's Supra. Troy promised me he's going to get me a 3 on the street.
With 800 horsepower?
With the 64, 66.
Yeah.
He said boost me to 50 pounds.
All right.
I'll be happy if he does a 4.5.
You know what's funny? We're literally adapting what we learned from VQs.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
So mad.
Yeah. Alright, the rest is all you now.
I don't know what to do.
Imagine. Alright, the video ends right here. That's it.
I'm going home for...
Before you lift this car up, I want to show the setup on the car. For context, why we're doing a traction control system. This car makes some power.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess we never really showcased this car or like featured this car ever. Most important piece, it's a KLM turbo kit with the 64, 66 Gen 2, not the next gen. And then obviously we push a lot of boost to that into this intake manifold. This is the RK intake manifold. Great piece of metal that you pay a lot of money for. ATS, Applied Torque Solutions, stage 1.5 bolt trans. This car makes 820 wheel horsepower and like 780. I'll pull up the graph over there somewhere. Anyways, yeah, it's a lot of power, a lot of torque. It comes on really fast because it's a really fast deploying 64mm turbo, even with the tire setup. So these are, he just got new tires as well. So brand new ET Street R's in the back Duro 545/17 with walled B-locks. Yeah, this thing doesn't hook. So one reason is that he's on a stock suspension. He's only on the lowering springs, the HKS adjustable lowering springs, the same ones I have. They adjust right high, but you can't adjust camber. So the more low you go, the more natural camber you get. Unless you zero that out, you won't get the full contact patch from the ground with these. And this is a very common issue with Supras. You just never have traction once you make like 800 plus horsepower. So that's why we're doing all this. You know everything, you know how everything goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so each loop is a wheel speed sensor.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Wow. Got some stickers.
Oh, you know what we do with stickers? Yo.
Troy couldn't handle the power.
So this is when you went to the ditch, huh? Look at all this.
He's a driver mod. Barely fits in the gap. This goes to one sensor and this goes to the other sensor. So your wheel speed and ABS. And then this goes to the long harness that he has.
Yeah. So it's nice you block off the plugs you don't need.
Yeah.
With the dummy connectors.
So on the Supra, you're gonna have two little black boxes. Kind of lift up the tab, open it, and then your connectors are gonna be in there.
Oh, I see.
It's such a tight space.
It's actually kind of cool. They protect those.
Yes. Okay, I lied. You only tap into one sensor. So this is just a jumper harness for your wheel speed sensor. So you do the factory connector in here, and this goes to the bottom part. And it's just,
it hijacks it, yeah.
Just a jumper harness.
Nice.
You only open one, and it's your bottom one.
Okay.
Just make sure it matches up. And then you just... Here, I'll pull it out. I can pull it out of the box if you want to see it better. Yeah. So that's what it looks like normally. And all you do is bridge this in between, and it's good to go. So I'm going to do that now. Disconnect. And then you're going to put this here. Make sure it clicks. And then the other side goes into the OEM, or the other side. You know.
Nice.
Like that.
And that's
yeah. And then you could, I think you could put it back in the box. There's space to put both sides in this. Oh, actually, yeah. Look, let's see. That's one. And two. Yeah, both sides could fit inside the box.
Nice.
So both.
It's like it's meant for this.
I know, right? So then all you have left is this dangling out.
Nice.
So we're just gonna tuck it up. I guess I could just zip tie it to the box.
Yeah.
On the side like that, and then have it go through this little gap. This goes into a little cubby in the engine bay. Very simple. That's it. Oh, trying to figure out a way to route this. I was thinking about just pulling this down, and I thought this went to the little cubby in the engine bay at first, but it's actually right next to the turbo. So I could just route this forward up through here and then back.
Yeah. So however you
I don't know how heat resistant these are, so I'd rather play it safe.
Yeah. Do whatever you gotta do.
So for the rear, you're gonna have to move the fender liner a little bit back. So just pull it back. It's just 1 10, 2, 3 10s, and you can pull it back enough. And then your sensor connector would be right here. I don't know if you can see it. Alright.
Oh.
This one right here. So it's a little hidden on the rear. It doesn't have a box on this one actually, because it's protected by the fender liner.
Nice.
You can just pull it out like that. Boom, done. Alright, so I am tucking it in between this little plastic piece right here. So this is gonna just get pushed in. Now it's hidden. And if you come over here, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, so once you have it in here, you could go above the subframe. Right here in this little gap. So kind of like if you have an aftermarket a Visconti fuel pump, you just follow how they routed the wire in there. Kind of just follow that, and that goes over the subframe up top, and it'll come down right next to the fuel pump. So then from here, I'm just gonna tuck it underneath all these plastic trays to the front, and then have it go into the same spot as the passenger front sensor. So you just follow the stock battery wires, just tuck it up, zip tie it to it, and just go whoop, all the way to the front. Okay, I gotta go underneath this metal piece. Go underneath, it'll be hidden still.
Nice, got it out.
Yeah. I just gotta get it up.
I can't get it up?
Oh, I always have trouble.
What?
need to pull it a little bit tighter.
So you got everything routed up here?
Yep, so one side is officially done. I'm just gonna zip tie these two together, then hide the zip tie underneath here.
Okay, so basically you just mirror the other side.
Yep.
Put the little speed sensor hijack tap thing in. And now, again, we're gonna do there's another harness, a long wire. Now you gotta feed through this side of the car so we can get up to the engine bay. And then we're gonna connect everything together.
Actually, I think I could use a stock
hanger for the fuel lines.
Yeah, if it fits in. Yeah. Look, they even got an open one for her. Look, this is. Alright. I just push it right in and boop. No zip tie needed.
Dude, I'm like, dude, come get. It's been here for 9 months.
We're too
I've
nice,
asked
bro.
you
You know
like
all these
6
other
times.
shops, they charge storage and we don't. We should start charging storage.
I'm about to, dude. It doesn't even make sense. I'm like, bro, I got to move shops, man. I'm not taking this thing with me.
Honestly. Anyway, this is Curtis.
Yep.
He's this is customer service, man. He knew that we were trying to get this install done and he couldn't get it so there was a little piece of the harness that we're missing and he couldn't get it here fast enough, so he drove here just to come drop it off and make sure that the install goes smooth. So yeah, thanks for coming by, man.
Absolutely, man.
I'll let Curtis talk about the system because I clearly didn't give it a good introduction the first time around.
Oh, no, you did really well at it, actually. So it's just a traction control system that I kind of spearheaded with Motive and had them create custom firmware so that we can pass through the signal from Race TCS and be able to control the vehicle on the street a little bit better. I noticed it big time when we started putting out some really high horsepower cars around 800, 900. And the Mickey Thompsons just weren't doing the job anymore. So
it's like every Supra we do.
Yeah. So this really helps dial it back and gives the tuner a little bit more control about the car without just shutting the power completely off.
So I have a question that came up that's good for the video, actually. So the signal that it outputs, what form does that come in? Is it like a duty cycle signal? What comes out of that?
It's actually it's not a voltage range per se, but it's a scaled range between 0 and 247.
Okay.
So you're just gonna have to scale that to 100%, 0 to 100%, and then that's kind of how it comes out.
So is it measuring wheel slip? Like is it basically measuring the difference between wheel speed sensors, or what's it outputting?
So the Race TCS box itself does require a little bit of configuration, and it outputs how much torque to reduce, a percentage of how much torque to reduce. Because in the configuration of the box itself, you got to be a little bit liberal with it so that you can control that on your end in the tune. So
let's say 0 is like it's asking for no torque reduction, and 247 is asking for all the torque reduction.
That's correct.
And that's actually really cool. That's better than the wheel speed sensor setup that we normally have because this has a calculation performed on it already.
That's right.
Whereas otherwise, I was telling Curtis that this is great because on VQs and VR38s and a lot of custom maps for other cars on Ecutech, we get wheel speed sensors and we can do it. Obviously, the B58s, they don't output wheel speed sensors for us in Ecutech, so we can't do a wheel speed sensor or wheel slip ratio based traction control. But this sounds like it's better because it's giving us a calculation beforehand that kind of does the math for us and just says, hey, this is how much reduction I want. So
that's right. Yeah. No, multiple tables and crossing over.
Yeah, it's just one table for us, and we can do ignition cut or whatever we want to do. So let me ask you, is it outputting on the CAN channel?
Yes.
So is it just which CAN channel do we look at?
It's custom input G.
It's custom CAN channel G, probably.
Yes, custom CAN channel G.
All right, perfect. Yeah, fantastic. That for anybody ask me how we're doing this in the future, it's that, and then your tuner does the rest. So, yeah, and hopefully you have a tuner that's got experience setting up custom traction control like that. Most tuners that do Ecutech on other platforms would, and then anyone who's done Motec has its own custom traction control that you can program and all that. So, it's awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it, man. I'm hoping Troy isn't afraid to drive his car anymore because so far he won't get me a high boost map pull. So
we'll get him crushing some cars here soon.
But on the street, traction is really what gets you, right? Like you're always you run that 4.58, and more often than not you're running like a 4.6 or a 4.7. Yeah, and then we convinced Troy to get a bigger turbo.
6 ESP next gen.
Yes, perfect for a stock motor.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, all right, let's get to it. We can. Oh, you know what? Can I have your mic, Curtis? We're gonna go annoy Moonshine real quick.
Oh no.
So Alex is he's my first employee and the guy I taught how to tune. So he does all of my VR30s and VQs and all that now. And so he has a really sick traction control setup that he uses on all the GTRs and VQs. Okay. So I'm gonna have him do it for this. So we're gonna go bother him now.
Oh no.
He hates being on camera. That's the fun part. How does your custom traction control work?
It's based on wheel slip ratio, and then I retard ignition timing based on that, and I have a multiplier in there with a slider that you can adjust the slide to adjust how much it's going to retard
This. I don't want to hold it anymore. Are you excited to do it on a Supra?
I mean, it'll work the same way. It's just based on. I mean, if I haven't looked at a B58
You
ROM
guys
that
heard
in
it
depth.
here first. If it's bad, we blame Moonshine.
Can you implement a slider, because I have it on a slider, so you can
the cool
adjust the
thing about
sensitivity.
Curtis's system is that there's a little potentiometer that they can do on their own, so it doesn't have to be a slider.
Okay.
And what it's outputting is actually a pre-calculated torque reduction request based on wheel slip. So the box itself is doing a bunch of calculations, and what it's going to give you is an output where 0 is requesting 0 torque reduction, and 247 is the
Okay.
max.
So you
torque
just
reduction.
so you're just going to retard ignition timing based on the torque reduction request.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
That makes it really easy. You don't have to do
You
that.
don't have to do. That's exactly what
That's
Curtis
like
said.
80% of the work
Yes,
in
exactly.
Ecutech is
now it's like
creating that.
one custom table versus like 5. So.
Okay, so you just have to determine how much ignition retard you want for
But if it's
the
bad,
torque reduction.
we blame you.
Well, you're gonna have to adjust it. You're not just gonna copy and paste what I made on a VQ over to a B58.
Yeah, we're not going to copy paste. You're going to make a fresh map.
Okay. Well,
Well,
got it.
all right. Here you go. Take this.
Thanks.
Wow.
VR30s are faster.
Oh yeah, yo.
Hold on, wait a minute. I mean, stock turbo, yeah, right?
Nah, we're saying VR30 is faster than B58.
Stock turbo. No?
Okay, yeah, it is.
Yeah, see?
Dang.
Full bolt on E30.
Small wrench. Like a 7
It's cheap.
And Z versus Supra.
Q50, no flex fuel kit, no low pressure. E30, full down pipes with turn downs. Racebox 2, and you're making like 475 wheel. But that's like $2,000 or $2,500.
He's like, what are you talking about?
I'm just jumping in.
Yeah.
I heard some fighting words, so.
Yo.
And go ahead and test it, make sure everything's good.
Okay,
And then I'll run to the car and I'll make a whole new extension that will run into the cabin.
Oh, okay.
How was that? At the end, it started getting blue as well.
You know how you like.
I got shot.
So it's going to be CAN input channel E. I was mistaken earlier. It is E. So right now it's 2, which is low. It's going to change to something right now because I'm going to play with it. What's it say? Okay, yeah, so it's hovering around there.
Is that the little dial?
No, I was just checking the signal. So it needs to be grounded, or like connected to the wire, otherwise it will just have noise. So it's important that it's connected at all times and doesn't lose connection. The Race TCX box is now hooked up to where it can send a signal to the reflex, which relays it to your CAN bus signal, and you can pick it up on Ecutech. The ECU, the stock ECU, can now see the torque reduction signal from the Race TCS. So now we just have to test the Race TCS box, make sure it has the wheel speed signal.
Are you using the wheel speed for each wheel to determine the slip?
The slip angle, stuff like that. I can.
You're able to get wheel speed on each wheel?
I can, but we don't pass through slip angle. Just a solid, 0 to 100% scaled torque reduction request.
So how are you actually determining torque reduction? Is it through the...
It's through the Race TCS box. It does everything for determining what the torque should be reduced by in order to achieve a certain wheel slip, target slip. So you have target slip control here. You can set these on 6 different presets, and you can have a start RPM if you want. You can have a start minimum speed if you'd like to when it activates.
So now we're gonna go just take the car for a quick drive to make sure the speed sensors are reading and it's actually showing up.
I'm doing a 6130 right now.
What?
Yes.
So for power,
Yes.
we tap into the fuse. It's a yellow.
It's this yellow one, which is now on the fuse tab. So
Yeah.
when you look at this, you're gonna look for the blue little box. So you look for the blue box, and then like the third row, you're gonna find this big yellow fuse. You're gonna take the fuse tab there, put the yellow fuse on here, put a 10 amp as the other fuse slot, and then that'll be your power.
So we were able to get the wheel speed sensors to actually read.
Nice.
Right here, so you have front left and front left, you know, rear right left. When we did a little blip up on the frontage over here, you can see the wheel separation. So these blue lines are all for wheel speed sensors. You can see where it's separated. So we had traction control all the way off. We're not actually doing anything as far as torque management with it. I just want to test, make sure that it's reading. And so we can see where it separates here, the front wheels down here from the back wheels. And you can see there's a slip percentage here. It represents like 1 is no slip, 1.11 is 11% slip. And so you can also see the green line here is where it's is commanding, hey, cut the torque. And so it's saying torque cut 95 here at the height of the slip, so it can get itself back down to the target, which is 3%.
So all the rest of this is just down to
Tuning.
flash tuning. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all up to Hussein now.
Yep. Hi, I'm Curtis, owner of Leach Street, Texas. We specialize in MK5 Supras. Our traction control system helps B58 owners achieve traction like never before on a rear-wheel drive platform. It's essential for anything above 800, 900 wheel horsepower on the street. So if that's what you intend to do to your car, visit our website to do the same. It's EliteStreetTexas.com or at Elite Street Texas on Instagram.
And yeah, thanks again, dude, for coming out. But the next time it's dry outside, we're gonna take the car out, do some tuning, do some testing. We're gonna actually, get on the car and see what it does.
I'm excited to see what you guys do with that car.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks again, dude.
Thanks.
2,000 years later.
All it's doing is you're adding to an integral, which is percentage. So you're starting at whenever it's 0, so each step is going to be what you're adding to that percentage, and then there's a min max, so it's only going to do 20%. It's only going to add 20% and take out 80%. We're not looking at load, so load may vary. I'm using RPM to kind of guess where load is going to be.
We could do use output as a maximum.
So the assumption is that with minimum engine speed, if you're getting wheel slip, it's probably just because you're turning very sharp or something like that. So it's not real traction spin. And then the other thing is also I don't have it kicking in any control until wheel slip reaches a certain value. Wheel slip ratio is whenever you're just turning the steering wheel if you're going slow and you're turning sharp.
Cool. Down along V22 for does Troy have phone flash? He doesn't. We flash this shit for him every time. He's so annoying, bro.
Wow.
Troy, get phone flash. Learn to flash your own car.
Wasn't that bad. I was able to keep it straight. I actually did one more hit before this hit right now on the other side. That hit was I spun worse. I think the tire's a little cold. I logged that, and then we're gonna get back to Hussein to see what we need to do to dial that in. So I just flashed another revision from Hussein. So I'm gonna try another second gear pull on high boost so we can see what it does now.
show them my Crocs.
Yes.
Look, I got cool, whatever those are. Anyway, the little giblets? My wife got them for me. Anyway, I'd say that was a success. Troy had previously never driven his car on high boost because he was scared of it. On the first revision that we had made of this last week, or after last weekend, so last weekend he drove it, and he ran a 4.7, 60 to 130, first time ever on high boost, which is pretty good for someone who hasn't felt their car on high boost, and these things make a dumb amount of torque. So I'd say just given that alone, this was a success. The last week we had a lot of rain, so we didn't get a lot of stuff. We had Curtis send us a new reflex box that has a faster response time for the input it gets from the race TCS, which allows us quicker input into EcuTech, which allows more on-the-fly adjustments, just a smoother transition. And Chidong, would you say that it helped with the smoothness of when it was cutting throttle, well, not cutting throttle, when it was cutting ignition? It's not jerky, it's like more of a smooth transition of the ignition cut. I don't think, well, Troy has like a 35, how heavy is the spring, 32?
Well, stupid. You have to change that out after.
He has like a 32 PSI spring, so like, he's never gonna hook in second gear. Like, I could have straight negative timing, and this thing would still spin in second gear, but with the race TCS, we've got it where at least it spins straight, and in third, it dead hooks on a good surface. By good surface, I mean concrete that isn't, you know, filled with gravel, like what Britmore, I mean, what Mexico roads are. Hey, well, actually, we didn't exceed the speed limit. What Britmore is, you know, and then we took it on another road, and it dead hooks. So it's perfect. You know, I think that's right where you want it. We don't want to pull more where, and so a couple of the other things we did this week was I implemented a per gear multiplier as well as a boost-based multiplier for how much the race TCS kicks in, so that it's not just always pulling timing even at lower boost, because lower boost is more controllable, right? Like if you get a really quick slip at low boost, but then it's going to hook anyway, you don't want this to pull unnecessary power. And then in the same way with the lower gears are much worse. So I've got it extra aggressive in first and second, and then third is like the neutral sensitivity, and then fourth, fifth, sixth, I pull it out. But in any case, I think it's a good product. I'm glad that this exists, because Alex and I have talked about why we can't do wheel speed sensor-based traction control on these cars on EcuTech for a long time. So I'm glad that this kind of bridges that gap. It would also be cool for people who track their cars. I think this is, in general, traction control systems are very helpful if he was taking it around a circuit. That's usually what we set them up for on other cars too. So if you're going to do like, you know, actual racing and you're like, oh, I have too much power, you know, I want to be able to just mash the throttle through it and not really care about it, this would be a great system for you for that too. But yeah, hopefully we'll get more data from Troy soon.
Come running back.